Welcome back to Chilltime with Jose, the gaming and coronavirus section. So basically, the first things up first, guys, is that the Coronawatch has been pretty good for Australia. And as you see here, well, basically 90% of our people that were infected are now recovered, and it's only been 15 cases in the last 24 hours. And it's been mostly in Victoria and New South Wales, okay? None everywhere else, which is a good thing. So as you see here, it's been pretty much like, just minor now. It's a big spike up early down here, but now it's just been mild spikes. It hasn't been anything too big. As you see here, the curve is it's going up, but it's completely kind of flattened out now. And pretty much, I'm going to say by now, it's pretty much under control, okay? In a few areas, it might not be under control, but it's pretty much under control. And, New South Wales and Victoria are starting to get really, really high, like known contact and unknown contact and stuff like that in the local area. And basically, in WA, still mostly travel. My man, g'day Scuff, what's up? Actually, I should change the title before I do anything else, but, nothing much, man, nothing much. She's going to update this because I just finished talking about the CSGO. Now I'm talking about the Corona-19 game review. What's been happening, man? Scuff, what's been happening? What's been happening? Two seconds, just updating a few things. But yeah, we're talking about coronavirus at the moment, and this will be included in the video as well. Complexity looking good against Mouse. Yeah, they are looking good against Mouse. Like, Complexity is one of these teams that, they probably could match some of these tier 1 teams. Like, they do have the roster to match it. Like, they do have the roster to match it. They've been threatening for such a long time. Like, they've been threatening for so long. Okay? And now, finally, they can do it. Now, let's get back to the Coronawatch, by the way, while we're waiting. I do enjoy watching Complexity play extremely well, especially under Blame F as well, being the IGL. And they really, allowing Obo to basically just go nuts in Complexity. And they've got Poison, a lot of good lineup behind it as well. It kind of sucks they have to go European, but, I think they've really just turned over a new leaf in Europe as well. So with COVID-19, it's pretty much, only 15 new cases, as you see here. And it's not that much, In fact, it just only went over 7,000 cases, like, last week, okay? So it hasn't really much grown at all. And, it's been pretty much under check and luck and key in Australia. Now, I'm going to talk about the gaming review. So we've got a Blizzard review here. What I'm going to do with the giveaways, I think I might give away a WoW game, maybe to Shadowlands, maybe a WoW Shadowlands thing. But I'm going to investigate on how I'm going to do that. But that's what I'm going to do for is I'm going to give away a WoW Shadowlands expansion pack. Corona's a mad thing. Never know what will happen in the near future. Hopefully you and your family stay safe and well. Yeah, we will. Like, Australia's not really much been affected under it because we got it under control really quickly. And a lot of people who did travel, fortunately, didn't go crazy and like party everywhere. They pretty much, just relax at home. And then, they knew they had it basically. And then the self-isolation kicked in as well, where they're forcing people to self-isolate. And then it became mandatory that people had to go into a hotel room basically. And that's pretty much it. So first things first, guys. Actually, before I do this, Salts, I should probably set up my boom arm as well while we're here. Anyways, guys, we're going to talk about the gaming section of it. We're going to talk about Diablo 3 as the first game. In the UK, it's crazy at the moment. Yeah, I can imagine. Because basically what happened is that since UK is in the EU still technically, you had like all the people from Italy, like anyone who came from Italy within the 14 days that Italy started ramping it up and started playing around with it. Pretty much all the European countries were dead in the water, to be honest. Like, by the time it started spreading in Italy, like, every EU country was going to have a bit of it, okay? Because they were still accepting travel into all one big border. And, not many countries could really enforce border restrictions. And because they're in the EU. And, geez, it's gone absolute nuts in the EU. Like, Sweden, for example. Like, I have no idea how Sweden even evades criticism. UK still letting flights in? Yeah, so does Australia. Like, Australia does the same thing. The only state that's closed in Australia is Western Australia. Like, there's no flights going in and out of the region. Like, at all. Anyone who's coming trying to get back into Australia has to go through Melbourne. And they have the Crown Casino giving, like, free rooms in Melbourne for people to self-isolate. Like, same thing in Australia, but, like, all the residents, that are Australian residents, they can come home via Australia. So I reviewed Diablo 3. So Diablo 3, I played both the expansion and Diablo 3. So I played the Reaper expansion, I played the Necromancer expansion as well. I played as a barbarian in this game, and I'm going to say that Diablo 3 at the start was pretty much a 1 out of 10, okay? Diablo 3 is probably one of the worst games with the real money auction house and their Inferno settings, okay? Even USA can't get him in Canada. Yeah, well, I don't blame them, given that America has a pretty bad virus too. So good. So basically, Diablo 3, when it first came out with Inferno mode, Inferno normal, all that shit, and Hell Nightmare, was absolutely fucking train wreck, okay? Like, some classes couldn't do Inferno, and other classes could, okay? Like, for example, as a barbarian, you could not do Inferno unless you had a full tanky spec, and you just basically wore the mobs down out of attrition rather than actually killing them with your DPS spec. Like, pretty much like barbarians and monks were pigeonholed into this one spec, and which was just pure tanking. You had to have a storm shield as well. If you didn't have a storm shield, you'd die 100%, and you still had the dodge mechanics, even with all these damage reductions. Like, you could have like 70% damage reduction, and one arcane thing will still kill you, okay? Even if you had all these damage reductions. You also had to have Iron Leap. You had to have one of these legendaries where you could leap multiple times to keep your Iron Leap up permanently, which gave you a 20% damage reduction. Oh, not 20%, sorry, 70% damage reduction. And it got to the point where it's just, you couldn't progress past certain areas unless you had all the items. And I didn't have a Storm Shield for such a long time, despite, being on the auction house, trying to buy real money on the auction house as well, because they had a real money auction house. And in the end, what happened was that the real money auction house was being used, like rumored to be used as money laundering, and effectively Blizzard shut it down, and they fired the person who made it, which was, I think it was Dustin Browder, I believe, who was the main developer on it. He's been fired. Oh no, it was Jay Wilson. That's right, it was Jay Wilson. It wasn't Dustin Browder. Sorry, Dustin Browder's a good one. They ended up firing Jay Wilson over it. Okay, they ended up firing him, and he was the one trying to laugh at the old Diablo 2 developers from Blizzard North who developed Diablo 2, and in the end they basically got I think they did take a lot of advice from Blizzard North on how to fix the game, and now Diablo 3 is basically a much better game. It's more of a hack and slash, like what it should be, basically a hack and slash RPG game, and now it's done. Well, it's done FXs, rifts, and stuff like that, and it's really emboldened itself in being a hack and slash game as well. It's a time game with rifts and stuff like that, as well as a grindy type of game as well as a hack and slash game is to grind more gear and stuff like that. And the main aspect I didn't really like about Diablo 3 is the fact that you get your upgraded set. Let's just say you get your set bonus, 6 set, your earthquake build or whatever, and then after that you are grinding for that piece of armor, but an ancient armor, or that piece of armor an extra socket, or an artifact. And it gets to the point where you're just like, is it really worth grinding 20 million fucking instances to get 0.3% of an upgrade so you can do a better rift? And it gets to that point where if you don't have that drive where you're trying to compete, because there's no money involved with getting to these higher rifts, it's just kind of an achievement kind of thing. And Diablo 3 doesn't have many people who watch their streams. Like, the highest person at the moment is about 400 viewers, okay? And that's just low, okay? That's just really low. And it's all the people who are pushing really, really high rifts. Like, do you really want to do that? Like, a lot of people just quit Diablo 3 once they get the set bonus and they don't feel like they've got anything to really grind for. And that's what I do as well, That's what I did on all my Diablo 3 playthroughs, is that when I got all my set items, and when I just felt like that the upgrades I was going to get were just pretty much pointless, I just quit. And that's the biggest weakness that Diablo 3 has, is that it doesn't have anything, with pro skill, it doesn't really push an incentive, in other words, giving you more loot. And there's no prestige for being the top at the end of it. So, a lot of people just lose a lot of drive there. And also, it's just the same thing over and over again with greater rifts and rifts. It is literally the same fucking thing. And, there's time, challenges, and records, of course. It's kind of like Mythic Plus in a way. How Mythic Plus has evolved into this, system where, people just trying to get quicker, trying to get a, X key done. And, that's been a massive issue. I know, I'm lame. I like that. No, what I mean is that you can enjoy grinding for gear. Then you get to a point where you're grinding for a 0.2% of an upgrade, a chance of a 0.2%. You're not guaranteed any sort of drop. It's basically you're just preying on RNG for that gear to drop rather than having agency for it to drop. That's what I'm talking about, okay? That's what I'm talking about, Nubage, okay? I'm not talking about, grinding for gear. I'm talking about the having a percent like 0.001% chance of it dropping, and like is it really worth it? That's where it runs out in Diablo 3. Diablo 3 overall, though, I do rate it as a 8 out of 9 out of 10. It was a very, very fun game to play. I do enjoy my Barbarian quite a bit, but that was really the only downside of it. Early on, it was probably like a 2 to 3 out of 10. Even though I played it a lot to get to Inferno, I basically stopped playing it. After I got to Inferno, I just couldn't get past anything without grinding for a Storm Shield. It was pretty much pointless, and I'm just like, seriously, I don't want to play fucking tank spec all day. I want to do damage to my Barbarian. I want to actually, have some fun, not just stack Revenge, ignore Pain, and Leap, and Charge, and that's it. I want to actually have some fun on my Barbarian, and that's when I quit, basically. The introduction of seasons and, like, set objectives where you grab your set bonus was really, really good for Diablo 3. Like, that was a very, very good change, and that's why it's gone up to that 8 or 9 ratio, is where if you do certain objectives in Diablo 3, you got, a set bonus. You got, here you have your Barbarian set piece for the season. And also, they gave you a different set each season, so you had to mix up your builds. So you couldn't go to the same build each season. You had to experiment and stuff like that. And I did enjoy that they gave you different item sets and stuff like that. Like, they gave you, basically what happens was that, if you, let's just say you killed the Butcher on Torment 5, for example, you got a piece of Raycors, okay? Like, that's what I'm talking about, is that you get a piece of a certain set, and they just, try to push you into a way where you've effectively got to, what am I going to say? Just push you into a way that, okay, you want to use this build instead. You want to experiment with this build? Like, I learned so many builds. Like, I learned the Earthquake build, okay? I learned that build. I learned the Raycor and Immortal Will build as well. I learned the Whirlwind build as well from, these different seasonal armors that I got given. And, playing from a Barbarian perspective, I definitely 100% enjoyed it. Now let's get to the next one, just going to be StarCraft 2. I'm going to say StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty was probably one of the most amazing expansions I've ever played, or sequels I've played to a game. Wings of Liberty really fucking nailed it, okay? Like, really nailed it. It was such a great game. Slap your forehead? Why? Are you going to imply that I'm like, someone else? What do you want me to slap it for, man? What do you want me to slap it for? But I gotta love Wings of Liberty. Wings of Liberty was a very, very complete game, and I gotta say now, like, the missions on that game, like, the choices you had as well, and basically getting new units and research and stuff like that was really, really fun. The main aspect I really liked was the Protoss missions, with about the in Utter Darkness. That was a really, really good game, and it really tested a lot of people on how much they can hold against an overwhelming force effectively. And oh my god, like, StarCraft 2 was such an amazing game. Like, you could do it on Brutal, and there's a lot of hard missions on Brutal, and there was also a secret mission as well, which revealed what was going to happen in the future of the expansion on what was being done. And, it does the secret missions. There was the big story about Menks, like, it really was in your face. You could really explore your lore of all the different characters as well. It also highlighted a lot of characters in the book. Hello, I'm from Brazil. G'day, JTZ from Brazil. Hope you're having a good day, my dude. And, like, overall, this plot, this was a really good plot. So basically what happens is that it's 4 years after Brood War, and, well, the Zerg have been quiet for 4 years, and the Zerg start riling up again. And Kerrigan starts trying to kill people again, as per usual. And basically it starts when Tychus comes back with Raynor, and there's a bit of a plot twist at the end, where Raynor basically has to do something and save someone else, which is completely unexpected. And then it goes to Heart of the Swarm. So Heart of the Swarm as well is basically around Kerrigan. So basically what happens is that, well, the plot twist happens, and essentially Kerrigan, well, basically pretty much Kerrigan is defeated and is reborn, and then Kerrigan's trying to find herself as a Zerg queen. And basically she eventually mutates again, and she has to save Jim Raynor, because Jim Raynor's been caught by the Dominion, and basically, in the end, the Dominion falls apart. This game was actually pretty good. I'd say Wings of Liberty is a bit better. This game was far too easy and brutal. Like, this is the easiest game in Brutal. Like, if you wanted to get an easy Brutal achievement, it would be 100% this game, because every mission other than the first few missions had Sarah Kerrigan as a hero. And Sarah Kerrigan is an OP, very, very OP hero. You could, use her abilities to really force pushes. And she never really ran out of mana either. And she could AoE, she could spawn minions. She could do a lot of things, and basically the brutal missions were so easy because you could just basically use Kerrigan to just brute force through these missions. It wasn't like Rings of Liberty where you actually had to use, you had to slowly gain ground by ground by ground. It was basically use Kerrigan so easy, lol. There was one mission where you couldn't use Kerrigan, but that mission was still fucking super easy on brutal. Switching devices are pain in the ass, dude. You're gonna watch me mount up a mic soon, okay? Now, lastly, Legacy of the Void was probably one of my favorite expansions of StarCraft 2. It's been the Protoss expansion, and it really highlights all the different types of Protoss, and also highlights the end. It also gives a epilogue as well into the end, which is extremely fun. And the thing is with this epilogue, the epilogue mission is actually really hard. And in Brutal, one of the missions I'm trying to do was just impossible, and I just really had to give up on that mission. And it was just exceptionally hard. And also, the epilogue tries a few new game modes as well, where they try to encourage turret defense and a few other things as well, which was super fun to do. Like the first one, for example, was just making your way up the map and having reinforcements. It's just really a big tug of war, essentially, and you just had to get on top of it. Now, the other one was, the last mission overall was just basically Kerrigan. You just had to protect her for the longest as you could, and Kerrigan could basically instantly nuke someone and kill them, and once Kerrigan was full, you basically won the mission. And the last one, I think, was just a 1v1, Kerrigan versus someone else, and that was it. And eventually Kerrigan wins in the end. And yeah, so pretty much Legacy of the Void being that. Legacy of the Void is actually really good. You get to explore more into the Protoss area as they retook Ardun. Oh, no, not Ardun. Ah, shit, it's not Ardun. Ardun's the figure. They took back their homeland, which was Aya. So they took back Aya. Do you realize the problem is that you have to have little options to develop your character, and set most are too strong to vary from them? Legacy of Dreams Gem being the only exception. Yeah, that's what I said as well, Zed, is that Diablo 3's big problem is like you couldn't replace certain items, and if you wanted to increase those items' powers, just little minimal gains, and it was pretty shit. And, so basically, Legacy of the Void was, amazing. And I definitely enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed the campaign of StarCraft 2. It was a big accomplishment once I completed it. The missions were actually really good as well. You get to have Phoenix come back as well. Even though Phoenix is just a copy, but not the actual Phoenix. But he comes back, so it's awesome. And yeah. StarCraft 2 is in the multiplayer. There's a lot of custom maps, as per usual. And those are really fun as well. Like Nexus Wars. I think it's Phantom Hunt or something like that. There's a lot of fun, a lot of fun map modes here. And the multiplayer was really good in Legacy of the Void as well. In Heart of the Swarm was really bad because Swarm hosts were over. It was basically Swarm hosts and Broodlords. It was very boring to watch. But, at least this time, for Legacy of the Void was a lot better. Wait, Kerrigan from Mousesports was in StarCraft 2? Kerrigan, not Carrigan. Poor Kerrigan. Kerrigan, he's now a female. Next up, we're going to talk about Warcraft 3. Okay, Warcraft 3 is probably the best RTS that's been released before StarCraft 2 and stuff got released. And it's probably the most memorable because of what happens to Arthas, as Arthas became Lich King, obviously, since you guys watched my WoW and stuff like that. And probably, the human campaign was probably the big campaign, where Arthas goes down as Descent to Madness. Thrall's campaign's pretty, okay, Thrall's in a new land, blah, blah, blah. The Undead campaign's really good when the Undead start ramping up and start becoming a complete threat and start killing, elves and stuff like that, and Kel'Thuzad is revived. And you get the Night Elf campaign, which basically sums up all the other campaigns together and puts them in a nice little bow where basically they're defending from Archimonde, who was summoned to Dalaran by Kel'Thuzad. And, that's the new things. That's the new things that came in here. And it was a very good game. This is where Dota came from. Dota came from Warcraft 3, the Frozen Throne, which is the expansion coming up. And, Warcraft 3 was a very fun game. Even though the multiplayer aspect wasn't as popular due to StarCraft 2 and StarCraft 1 and Brood War, it was still a relatively fun strategical game. There's actually a lot of maps released with this as well, a lot of fun maps, because the map editor tool became so much better that you could actually make a Metal Gear Solid game in Warcraft 3. You could edit the textures and put your own textures in, and you could put your own sounds in as well, which is unheard of compared to the previous Blizzard games, where you just had a map editor and that's all you had. So next up we're going to do is Warcraft 3 The Frozen Throne. So the Warcraft Frozen Throne follows Arthas first off, Arthas losing his powers, and basically the Lich King losing his hold off Sylvanas, and it becomes the Arthas v Sylvanas saga, and how Sylvanas liberates Lordaeron while Kevazard and Arthas are away effectively. And it shows that, eventually Arthas becomes the Lich King in the Undead campaign. I think it's, yeah. It also shows Kael'thas as well, and how Kael'thas becomes with Illidan and Lady Vash. It also shows the human campaign, which is that. It also shows the Night Elf campaign, and how Maiev basically chases Illidan, okay? Basically chases Illidan around, and dude always hears like, now's the time, Illidan's out there somewhere, stuff like that. Basically, it's following Maev's quest on trying to search for Illidan, and, well, at the end, Malfurion and Tyrande have to let it go because she's got like full-on bonkers, and Illidan ends up saving Tyrande, and Malfurion ends up fucking up Illidan's spell to beat the Lich King. So, the Frozen Throne was very, very fucking good game. Like, a very good game. The single-player campaign was amazing. In fact, this game also birthed WoW in a way. They said it had a game called The Finding of Durotar, which you had to unlock by doing the campaign. And it was basically like a WoW quest with Rexxar. Like, Rexxar was your main guy. Then you got Rekhan, which is funnily enough, Rekhan's still being in the game now. Also, it's Rockhan, sorry. He was the Shadow Shaman that you got. And, you got a lot of these guys coming in the game, and basically did buddies, and you basically did quests with them and stuff like that. You had to help out Gazlo, Thrall, and all that stuff. And they made, like, a really, really big RPG game out of it. And, they went to Dustwallow Marsh, they killed Dalen Proudmoore. It was actually a really, really, really good game. And that's where WoW really evolved from, was they were like, hang on, we made a game like this. A lot of people enjoyed Finding of Durotar and all the little quests they did, the items they got in their inventory. Why don't we make a game and we could just call it World of Warcraft? And that's how World of Warcraft evolved from that beta, the Finding of Durotar and Warcraft 3. And I have played Warcraft 3 on my channel as well. And, I definitely enjoyed the Throne of Throne. And I enjoyed the fact that these WoW developers made it into Warcraft 3 developers made WoW into what it is. So basically, the game was announced in 2001. And it was after the Frozen Throne, basically. And they basically said, hang on, the people enjoyed the Finding of Durotar. Why not go through it this? So it announced in 2001, was released in 2004. And that's pretty much it. Are you homosexual? No offense, no. Like, what are you guys getting this from? Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. I gotta love these people. They're coming out of nowhere and like, oh, are you this? Yeah, they do. It's like, what the fuck? Buddy, like, oh my god. But anyway, so WoW, I gotta say, WoW's been pretty much up and down. Classic was probably not the apex of it. I'd say Wrath of the Lich King was the apex of WoW, like where a lot of people were playing, and it was the game to play. But it went down in Cataclysm. Like, Cataclysm was pretty bad, because I think it was after Bastion, and I forget the other raids, Bastion of Twilight, I think Throne of Four Winds, and Blackwing Descent. It was pretty shit, okay? Like, Firelands was, Firelands, despite Ragnaros, was pretty bad. Dragon Soul was really bad, and given that Firelands should have had another instance with Neptune in it, was pretty yikers, okay? And Blizzard missed a lot of their targets with Cataclysm. Then it got better in Mists, and got fucking really bad in fucking Draenor. Like, it got to a point in Wolves of Draenor where you didn't actually have to do anything, okay? Like, you don't have to do anything at all to get money in Draenor. And that's where, it just went down. And it went back up again in Legion when you got the artifacts. Like, you got, the Ashbringer and stuff like that. And Legion was a very, very enjoyable game. And in usual Blizzard fashion, every step forward is 2 steps back. And BFA was just absolute garbage until about 8.2, 8.3, where they really revolutionized the trait system, the essence system. And they, even though Titan Forging and Corruption was utter shit, like, it's becoming like such an RNG fest, but now they're fixing that. So you're making it that you can purchase it if you want to, so the players can grind for something to purchase it. And, it's getting progressively better. And what I'm going to announce, guys, as well, that WoW overall, I'm going to say it's probably going to be an 8 or 9 out of 10, given I've played it since Classic. And, I've thoroughly enjoyed the friends that I've met through this and the people I've met through this as well. I've also enjoyed the gameplay as well and also my evolution as a player. Do you only talk about WoW? Dude, I've been talking about other fucking games. Like, dude, you've come in here and asked if I was gay and then be like, do you only talk about WoW when I've been clearly reviewed all these other games? Like, dude, do you know how to talk to people or not? Okay, because, like, this is what, this is why you probably, get not talked to very nicely, okay? Can we have about a conversation about Fortnite? No one cares about Fortnite. You can go to another channel that, has Fortnite being played. But anyways, you guys are probably a bunch of trolls anyway. So yeah, so Battle of Azeroth was pretty shite until about 8.2, 8.3. Once 8.3 like came around, it was a lot better because a lot of the corruption was all right. They're improving it day by day. The essence system was more shined upon because essence system was pretty much bare and it could be improved on. And they stopped you from grinding too much. What is it? Heart of Azeroth levels. They didn't make you grind so much because it was absolutely fucking garbage to grind like 15 levels to get another minor slot. Dude, man, just get out of here. I know you just troll all day. See you later. Anyways, but so far, like I gotta say, overall, the average rating is gonna be about 8 out of 10 for WoW. Like it's been a very good game, like in raffle and stuff like that. But just expansions like Kata, WoD, and BFA really, really put it down. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for today for talking about the games that, well, the Blizzard week of games. I'll probably give away a epic, not epic version, probably a heroic or epic version. Maybe I'm not gonna. I gotta see how much what it costs and what I can provide of the World of Warcraft Shadow expansion as a giveaway, as kind of for Blizzard Week. I'm not going to give away any other games, unfortunately, because you can't. I'm not sure if you can gift those, but I know you can gift the Shadowlands expansion. I might gift, probably a collectors or something like that, depending on what can be gifted. Like I don't want to gift a collector's edition and find out something only can be for myself. But just keep a heads up as well. That that's will be one of the giveaways. Will be the Shadowlands expansion, and it'll be probably be the other one of the mounts. And maybe, something else as well, but I'll see. And so that's going to be it for chill time for today. I could go straight into WoW to do some of the assaults and stuff like that. But before I do that, I'm going to put my microphone together, get my boom over, and see how well we can settle it up. And hopefully I don't drop my mic. It's probably the main thing is hopefully do not drop my mic, because that'll be a bit of a yikes if I